80% of a podcast's quality isn't about the mic, it's about the setup. I've filmed dozens of shows, but for my client's latest two-person interview, I had to rethink everything I knew about lighting, camera angles, and furniture, all while troubleshooting on the fly. I was preparing for a client's podcast. He's a personal trainer interviewing the owner of a gym. I've done plenty of one-person interviews before, but a two-person conversation is a different game. When I scouted the location, they told me I could set up anywhere I wanted. Love it when clients trust me like that. As I walked around, I noticed how great the gym lighting was. The far end of the gym caught my eye, but the interview was happening during peak hours. Too many people, too much movement. Since this was going to be a 2-hour recording, I mentioned my concern about foot traffic. They suggested the posing room instead. Perfect. It had the gym's logo, I could control the lighting, and it had enough space for the whole setup. Next, I had to think about furniture. They only had bar stools, which I avoid for interviews because they spin. Nervous guests will turn without even realizing it, and it's distracting on camera. I asked if we could use the couches and table from the lobby, and they agreed. I also wanted some practical lights in the background. I already had one adjustable IKEA lamp from years ago, so I bought another for symmetry. These would go on the side angles. For the key light, I originally planned to use the Nanlite 60B2 with a 36-inch softbox, but the tilt head couldn't handle the weight. I switched to the Amaran 60X, lighter, sturdier, and I actually prefer its tilt head design. I also like the Sidus Link app more than Nanlink. It's just more reliable in my experience. Normally, I don't bring my C-stand because it's heavy and I don't have a case for it. But for this setup, I wanted to boom the light to create a nice shadow across the subject's face. The stock boom arms are too short, so I used a longer, stronger one from a local store, similar to a Matthews Mini Boom. We arrived at the gym 2 hours before the podcast to set up, which I thought would be enough time. It wasn't. The posing room was still in use for another 30 minutes, so we started late. We brought in the couches, but they weren't the same size. We went with the smaller one to fit the frame. For lighting, I used Amaran 60 by with 24-inch softbox on both sides, Nanlite PavaTube 6C with a grid for hair backlight, the IKEA lamp with Accent B7C as practical lighting, the Nanlite Forza 150B with a projection attachment to light the logo and bounce off the mirror behind the gym owner. I turned off all the room lights completely. For cameras, we had 5 in total, 3 Sony FX3s and 2 FX30s, 1 wide shot, 2 angles for my client, and 2 for the gym owner. For audio, I used Shure SM7B mics with cloud lifters, connected directly to each subject's tight shot via the Sony XLR handle, with 50-foot XLR cables to keep things tidy. When the guests sat down, I still didn't feel ready, but it was time to roll. 2 hours for setup, definitely not enough for me. About 4 minutes in, I noticed the gym owner's hair light had turned off, even though it was plugged in. We took it down to troubleshoot and found that it doesn't charge while it's on. We let it charge for a bit, but I didn't stop recording. It was just the hair light. If it had been the key light, that would have been a different story. Since the gym owner was getting more screen time, we swapped the hair light from my client to him. Around the 50-minute mark, we switched it back. Another thing I noticed was that the gym owner kept slouching and sometimes covering his face. I regretted placing him at the end of the couch. He could lean on the armrest and the couch sank a bit. A pillow under him would have helped. If I had more seating options, I wouldn't have used that couch at all. Lastly, my client's side was darker than I wanted. I should have placed a backlight, dimmed the Aputure BC7 lamp, or added a fill light in front to brighten the couch. Overall, I'm still learning and improving every time I pick up the camera. After every shoot, I think I could have done this better, but the more I film, the more I meet other creatives who feel the same way. Real artists are never fully satisfied. The finish line keeps moving, if there even is one. What matters most is that my clients are happy and truly satisfied with the final result. And that's what makes all the effort worth it. Here's the teaser video.
I do different things in life. I didn't want that basic path. The difference between me and a lot of people, and I learned this doing this and struggling with this, what people don't understand and what they can't get over is that you're one crew, okay, and you have 3 to 5 crew. Automatically, you think you're gonna make more money. It's not the case. That's not the case, because it takes away from what you're doing and what you're on the tools and everything like that to babysit these guys.
If you could give the entrepreneur out there that's as driven as you are, willing to put in the work like you do, what is advice that you can give? What, just speak to them right now.
If you're a really good problem solver, you can basically almost do anything in life. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Either you find someone that's able to do it for you and help you do it, or you sit down and try to figure it out what people have done and do it better, or see where they've failed and where you could succeed. I have built all of this and built my company, but I'm always thinking of that next step. I don't think I'm ever going to stop, you know? And I feel like really good entrepreneurs and really good people that want to get ahead, they don't stop, you know, because once you stop,